7. But then results of leading or not. So it's actually, I think it also came into play at the presidential when, despite the fact that, the
all
APC.
3 had 12 states.
Yes, 5% of 24 states. Now, but then what is happening in Adamawa State now is that the REC has said what needs to be done in Furore results needs time, and therefore collation is still ongoing in Furore local government. But there's one thing that I also like to bring to fore is the fact that Furore local government happens to be the home local government of Aisha Binani. And
it's also an APC local government.
It's also an APC local government. It's a traditional local government that
for the APC.
For the APC.
And the contestant is also from that local government.
How it has become the local government that is now the deciding factor, or the fact that
we have to wait.
The PDP is now saying, and it's interesting now because now the PDP is using the power of incumbency, in that area now. So we are yet to know whether or not we have the first elected female governor in Nigeria.
But I think we'd have to wait because again, you have supporters of the APC and the PDP already laying claim to victory in Adamawa State. Everybody has won. From the reports we are getting, you have different things going on social media. PDP claiming victory, APC claiming victory. But I think we needed to point out the issue for a local government, the fact that it's a traditional local government for the APC, so the expectation is that
it's also the home local government of Aisha Binani.
And a lot of people feel that the margin of victory is going to come from that local government because she's expected to pick, if not 90% of the votes from that particular local government.
Let's not forget that Aisha Binani, before she even became the APC governorship candidate in Adamawa State, she had to defeat several influential male politicians of the APC in that state, which includes former presidential candidate Nuhu Ribadu. Now she also happens to be the current chairman of the Senate Committee on SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. So that means that she is grassroots. She knows the people down there. Exactly. So why Furore is the one that we're all waiting on. I remember how yesterday Etiosa had the whole Lagos Collation Center to ransom. We waited for almost 9 hours for Etiosa to fully collate their results. But then Furore now is the bone of contention. Now reports gathered is that APC chieftains have all flown into Adamawa to see that it's all sorted out. Whether or not.
Well, I think the integrity of INEC, of sentiments out there, when I call on a number of survey don't preempt
yesterday I was all excited. I think
a lot of people are already celebrating. I think I think this particular one was attached to the Women's Day.
Mother's Sunday. Day, yes, was yesterday, and just last week Wednesday was also International Women's Day.
So people were like, for the first time we have an elected female governor. Elected because we had the female
Virginia.
Virginia in Anambra State. Let's set the record straight.
Yes, let's set the record.
Well, that was for 3 months.
She was the governor after Peter Obi had some issues.
Yeah.
Yes, he was impeached. Had some issues about misconduct or no misconduct in Anambra. She was not elected into the position. She was instated into the, and after 3 months,
the appeal court nullified the impeachment, and then she handed over back to Peter Obi.
So that's the story. As regards the proper election, she went through the primaries. That's Binani now. Yeah. She went through the primaries. Went into she didn't. Nobody stepped down for her. She went through the whole entire.
And she has
process.
Also faced a lot of court battle. There was a time that election in the primaries was nullified, and she went to the appeal court and won. So she's faced a lot of battle getting to this stage. And one would think that
just let her breathe.
As she's looking at the end of the race, just a few meters away, I think we should allow transparency to prevail in this particular one.
Well, just as we've said, whether or not the power of incumbency will come into play, or INEC will be able to stand its ground and announce, as reported from the different polling units. We'll see what happens in Adamawa State. The world is actually watching. Yeah, because this is personal. Is the fact that she's
the feminist world also watching.
Thank you.
Before they bite somebody.
Exactly that. Oh, it's because she's a woman. What is happening?
And it's interesting that this history that we're about to make, if it happens, is coming from a region of the country
that supposedly suppresses women education and women rights.
So I just told you before the show that it would have happened even before now with Mama Taraba, of blessed memory. So it would be nice to see the North produce the first elected female governor in Nigeria. That would be a big thing to really celebrate. I
have always had the opinion that with the fact that the West has always been the one with female deputy governors, that one way or the other, after 20-something years of democracy, the Southwest would be the one to produce the first elected female governor. That was my own calculations. I was like, Lagos has always.
And to think that Adamawa is majority Muslim, is a majorly Muslim state, so, and to have a female, because it
says a whole lot about that election.
Elections, yes, and that's why it's important to a lot of people. Yeah,
and that's why we were having the conversation as regards shifts. Now, she's of the APC. PDP won the presidential elections. The Atiku Abubakar
is a strong factor there
from Adamawa.
The incumbent governor is a PDP person.
Is a PDP person. So that's with the shift conversation that's been going around and all of that. So I hope that Adamawa would be able to stand its ground and make history.
INEC will do the right thing, hopefully.
So we are leaving it to INEC. Okay. We are trusting INEC
to do the right thing.
Let's keep moving now. Still as regards the elections, in Yobe State, the candidate of the APC, and the incumbent governor in the state, Mai Malabuni, has won the governorship election with over 300 Umar.
And I think, like we said in the morning, the interest of Kwanzo and his Kwansia movement in forming the NNPP was majorly to capture Kano. And I think somehow they've been able to do that. Again, the results are not concluded yet, but
let's get to Kano. Yeah, this Yobe, the fact that NNPP was even able to come in third, at that,
as expected. But
the NNPP is gaining ground.
At the presidential elections, the APC lost Yobe State, and to think again, we talked about the possibility of the results affecting and then being different from what we saw February 25, and that's what we're seeing now. Most of the states that the APC lost on February 25, the presidential elections, they are now winning. In fact, as it is, most of the second-term governors who are seeking second term have all won their respective states. So you now have a Yobe that has gone back to the APC, Maimala Buni, who was the former caretaker chairman of the party, if you remember him very well. As one in Yobe State.
How
as we
can
speak.
we forget
Buni? Okay.
Who was supposed to? That story was very interesting. Okay,
so let's just. So that's the story of Yobe State.
Aside from the happy hour, Akwa Ibom governor in this country, we'll get to that.
Ordained Reverend Father.
They are different. Winner of the Akwa Ibom State vowed to sustain the prevailing. That he's humbled yet energized by the massive support and overwhelming vote of confidence, he hopes that he'll be a servant leader in the next 4 years. A lot of expectations from Pastor Umo Basi Eno, but more importantly,
the happy hour thing.
The happy hour. I'm interested in how Akwa Ibom people are going to,
It's a Friday thing. Thank God it's Friday.
Is it going to be from 4 to 6? Or
no, I think there's a time. It gave me time, so within that period, it's free, interested. Cheap beer, for
is
people.
It free or cheap?
I think it will be subsidized. Subsidy for beer in Akwa Ibom. It will be not completely free, but at reduced rate. So I expect that. Again, I don't know how the governor wants to ensure that beer.
How many bars are there in Akwa Ibom State? How are they going to manage this? That means that we are going to have a commission or a committee set up.
Can you see the irony of what is happening now?
Commissioner for happy hour.
I'm just saying, instead of us talking about critical things affecting Akwa Ibomites, we're talking about the price of beer and when it will be sold at reduced prices, But again, it was a campaign promise, and so we expect to see how the new governor-elect is able to implement that.
The people of Adamawa State, is it that we don't have Akwa Ibom, apologies, is it that we don't have problems in Akwa Ibom?
No, I'm sure he would, amongst other things, he only promised that as part of his campaign promise. I'm sure he will be attending to other things so that we don't just limit whatever he wants to do to their power thing. But we have to highlight that because it's a bit strange, for a governor to say, hey. But again, we remember the story of stomach infrastructure. We also remember the story of a commissioner for happiness in Imo State. So now we have a governor promising his people happy hour. So most likely we're going to see a commissioner for happy hour in Akwa Ibom State.
We want happy hour in Lagos. We spend too much time in traffic, so we want happy hour.
Well, if the governor is listening there, maybe he will think about it.
God bless governor.
But he will enter Gbese in Lagos. So the kind of happy hour in Lagos.
On my street alone, there are like 10 bars. There are like 10 bars.
So if he decides to go into Lagos, with the population at the level of... they don't even do Fridays alone in Lagos. It's almost a daily thing. So
the entire Friday.
I think my governor should stay away from that. Let's just concentrate on
Let's move on to Sokoto State, which also happens to be an interesting swing state. The governor-elect of Sokoto State happens to be Ahmed Aliu Sokoto under the APC. Ticket. He was the deputy governor to Aminu Tambuwal before Aminu Tambuwal defected to PDP, and he refused to defect with Tambuwal.
He stayed in the APC.
He stayed in the APC, and now look at the beauty of democracy. Aminu
when you have personal conviction
Ahmed
and
Aliu.
believe that I will remain here and I'm going to take the seat from you. And it was tough if you look at the figures.
No, it was.
So the margin of victory was
in Sokoto. That's one of the swing states that we're looking at. It was a PDP state, but now it has gone to the APC. And now this is another reason why we need to have the conversation of that 2-week break between the presidential election and the state elections. But then we'll continue to bring that to light. All right, let's keep moving now. We also have the fact that the governorship candidate of the APC, Dr. Umar Diko Rada, has been declared winner of the governorship contest in Katsina State, which happens to be the home state of the sitting president, Muhammadu Buhari. And it was observed that the APC candidate won 33 out of the 34 local government councils of the state, while PDP won only Kankara local government with 27,900 votes.
So what happened?
That was a landslide.
A major difference from what we saw at the presidential elections, where the PDP won Katsina State, although with a very slim margin, but it was a victory for the PDP February 25 presidential elections.
So what happens between the presidential and the state elections that causes this swift?
I think, Sandra, multiple things, a lot of factors. I think one of them again would depend on the performance of the sitting governors. We analyzed this before the governorship elections. That look, it was going to be different because now this is closer to the people. The presidential election, I think, was marred with ethnic sentiments, religious sentiments, and all of that. Because if you look at the election, Sandra, except for the fact that the APC presidential candidate, who is now president-elect, Ajibola, was able to have that spread. If you review the votes from the north, Atiku dealt with him seriously in the north. So whether we like it or not, that ethnic sentiment worked for Atiku in the north.
Yeah.
If we look at it head to head, state for state, the northern votes went for Atiku.
It was balanced.
But somehow, Tinubu was able to pick good numbers.
Edge. I think that was the purpose of the pre-campaigns. He went round
because he knows that he needed to do well. He may not win those states.
No.
But all I need to do
he needed the numbers.
He needed the numbers, and he got them. But in terms of
it was not about winning the states. Just give me the numbers.
Good numbers.
And let me add it to whatever I'm getting from.
And then, of course, get the simple majority, and then you have 25%.
So politics is a game of numbers. That
now,
is all.
Why these states are now going back to the APC, I think the factors would be that, ethnicity is no longer involved. It's now we. So the sentiments of is a Fulani, is a Yoruba, is a...
No. That was not in play.
So it is we now. So what will now be brought on the front burner would be performance. How did you do? How did your party do well? The second one will now be the popularity of the candidates. How popular are these candidates? How able to push out the votes? So we're not surprised that, look, with the influence of maybe President Muhammadu Buhari, the governor of the state in Katsina and this other state, they're able to now pull out the numbers and then, of course, return the state to the APC. But the reality is that why we're seeing this major difference is that the presidential elections was more, honestly, in my own analysis of the figures, I think ethnic and religious sentiment played a lot of role in what we saw at the presidential elections.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of ethnic or,
religious sentiments.
Sentiments or just, sentiments generally emotional sentiments generally. The governorship candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, in Kano State, Abba Kabir Yusuf, has won the gubernatorial election in Kano. There's this conversation, that at this point now, what Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is to Lagos, what probably a Nyesom Wike is to Rivers, what Ayo Fayoshi was once to Ekiti, is what Rabi Kwakwanso has become in Kano State. Former governor, and the fact that he's beloved by the people, and that's why at the presidential election it was a clean sweep for the NNPP, and now at the gubernatorial it's also a clean sweep for the NNPP. So we're hoping,
although the figures are not officially declared, but okay, all right. Okay, now officially declared. Okay, yes. Good. Yeah.
All right. So but then one thing I'd also like to bring to fore is the fact that we can say that this is just like we have ABGA in Anambra, seems to be an ABGA state. So can we officially say maybe this Kano may be tilting towards an NNPP led state?
Well, that would be
strategic.
It was just strategic. He came up with a new party. He didn't want to work with the PDP ground, the Kwankwansia movement and all of incumbent, to fight a party that has everything to what end? We're champion because would he be forming because he has won political enemies? Will remain with his performance because again, movement. I think whoever the new governor-elect in Kano State needs to do a lot more in terms of improving the lots of Kano people, so that any party that is not doing
about 1,019,602 votes to beat the AP
figures from Kano State.
That's two states combined. That's two states combined, and at the end of the day, it still was not enough for someone to win.
If you throw the votes of Ekiti into that one, Ekiti, I think the entire tally
it wasn't up to. That's what I'm saying. That votes, so that means the APC candidate was able to.
The election was a new governor-elect
declared what the results would by the ruling APC and the PDP. The collation and returning officer of the election, Professor Yusuf Saidu of the Usman Dan Fodio University, Sokoto, and 91 local government areas, cutting across different registration areas and different polling units. So it came to a total of 91,000. As regards collation
and cancellation of results. I think I mentioned it in the morning. We're going to have a lot of cases in court. A lot of them. And I'm sure the political parties already putting together their documentary evidences, because again, if we're going to take a lead from the tribunal ruling in Osun State, because it was just basically a case of plus and minus in Osun State, starts across the country. So again, unfortunately, we're going to go home happy, smile to the banks, because they have a lot of DPs making serious. They were expecting the disfied parties are allowed to put up their dissatisfaction from court rulings. We've seen senators emerge from court rulings. The electoral provides for. That's what the constitution provides for. And
very relatively young politicians in the state houses of Akara, for example. We had the young lady Owode Erede in Kwara. A 27-year-old also won in Osun State House of Assembly. So at this point now, maybe this is an opportunity, for the youth to. There's also the information, but
it is also
Rivers is also Stanley was not near it.
Owode,
6-year-old.
She was on Situation Room with Okpeyemi.
Yes.
We hosted
some months ago.
And I think she'll be back. We need to ask her it all went.
How the experience was, especially.
And then what does she want to do going forward? Again, for her people. I'm sure that she would not want to keep it just at the state assembly level.
She definitely
probably wants to go forward and do
a Muslim
dominated state. Beautiful one that we're seeing this time.
Beautiful things are happening. But then at the constituency, where former governor, the young person, the 27-year-old medical doctor,
would decide to participate in the process again, and that's what we're seeing.
When you speak of being a part of the process, what effect the change on the outside?
Active participation.
It's unfortunate though what happened, to the Labour Party in Surulere. But then, we wish them all the best. A winner has been declared. I guess we move on from there. And anyone who contests, of course, you have the agent, the governorship candidate himself, to Ballot 23 on mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos, and trending in other states as regards, the Guba election. So if you'd like to join in on the conversation, 0913 600410, that's the number to call, and you can send 6,000 dates. Yes, that is all right. So all 20 the Gema local government. So
serious battle at the collation center in River State. A lot of back and forth between.
They were there for hours.
They are still there.
They are still there
between party agents.
All the 20 local volunteer at the wiki.
Well, if we're going to go back over to ensure that it's chosen. The Labour Party, again, all allegations, we don't have the facts to it, that all of the results were manipulated. In fact, what they were doing was basically checks, I'm sure will be contested.
Good morning, Mr. Fuhad.
Good morning.
You are really the best man. Let's look how it will be for the next 4 years to come.
Okay.
What I know is that anybody that forces himself to that movement, what I saw was very not even look at me. I want my opinion that I was voting for a primary school.
Okay.
I really see why you go to one woman. It is helpless. I now to primary school. I moved here. The thing was more than me. I ran.
All right.
I ran and living. So what they do, they just select themselves. I wish them bad luck. I will not.
Very wrong and unacceptable.
To know. We are still expecting your analysis on the Ballot. Meanwhile, you see what happened in the last governorship election in Lagos State, where as we look it out, then we should depriving their success of luck for the winners and the losers. You can go.
All right.
Forward.
Yeah, Don Peters. Good morning.
I'm heartbroken. Preach justice and fairness. I was born where I know, and I spent some few years of my life in East Africa. My wife is from Osun State, and we have 3 kids, 2 boys and a father. My children are being. I can say that this is my country. In my office, I have people, but in my own front, what to do. Because if I tell you that I'm at peace with what the police, I have never seen a thing like that. I've never had something. Okay, I'm happy.
How she's not close to you.
I'm wounded in the heart. I'm wounded. To be very honest, I'm speaking from my heart.
You'll be fine.
I'm wounded.
I'm wife to my sister. She's my sister from the.
We were there.
These
we were there. We are not running away. It's the truth. Legit, like calling out. These people, they have this ethnic situation. Bring a lot of posts on.
Would never come up.
They will elect themselves.
You won't hear is drill that into the.
Well, we shouldn't have accepted that. One way or the other, the governor of the state would
assuring and reassuring them. Yeah,
assuring and reassuring. So I hope. So it's a pleasure to also have this conversation. Continues. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and T News. Thank you very much.